Well, hello everyone. We've got a Grimdark Future Battle Report. Two custom armies, Inquisitorial Crusade versus some Steel Disciples. 3,000 point battle report. I'm using Tabletop Simulator. This is a solo game, so it's me sort of continuing to kind of play around and learn Tabletop Simulator as well. It's 3,000 points, 5 objectives. I couldn't find the exact models for Steel Disciples, so I did some proxies, and I'll go over that. I am playing with the command point rules, so you can just see those there. I've gone over those several times. So let's just go into my list. So I've got some Knight Brothers that I have some shred shotguns with six energy swords and 4 energy staffs. They've got regen. I've got 2 6-man unit of destroyers. They've got some wrist carbines. All of them have halberds, so blast. I've got 2 psychic kings in there. So both of them have regen. One has a relic for Fury Aura, and then the other one just has it's the same squad without the Fury Aura. Both of them have the caster upgrade. I've got 2 3-man units of purgations, both with side cannons. I've got a 10-man flagellant squad, so this is the expanded Inquisition combined with Knight Brothers with some tweaks in kind of inner there to kind of make these armies work together. So 10 dual arc flails. Then got some Crusaders. These are the guys with Shield Wall that I have as a 10-man. 5 Assassin Henchmen that I have with Energy Swords, and they have Stealth. 2 10-man units of Pilgrims. So these are sort of chaff. I've got my Master Destroyer, he's got an Energy Halberd and he's got a Master Psychic Cannon. So he shoots with a 2-shot blast in there. He's got Caster 3. I've got just a Master Brother who's got the Purifier. He's got a Shred Shotgun and Energy Sword. He's got Advanced Tactics, so he's going to be able to move 1 unit 6 inches. And finally, I've got some Missionary Henchmen with some double-handed chainsaws. For the Steel Disciples, a Steel Harbinger, so this is a demon who's got, so everyone's got Methodical. Methodical is just the variant of Devout, which is anything within 12 shooting gets 6s explode to a second hit. He's got the caster upgrade. We've got a Steel Champion who's got Steel Tactics, so this is just like Advanced Tactics. It's the move a squad 6 inches within 12. He's got a Magnum Shotgun. This is a Blast AP1 shotgun, and he has the Shield Wall upgrade. He's going to be in one of my Steel Breachers. I've got a 20-man unit of Steel Initiates, so they have regen on them. They've got 2 heavy machine guns as a weapons team. They also have Relentless. So I've got just a 10-man squad of just regular Disciples. So they've got the Methodical. They've also got regen, and they've just got heavy rifles with a heavy machine gun in there. 2 10-man units of Breachers with 2 Magnum shotguns in there. So that's that. So these guys are pretty nasty. They have the Shield Wall, they have Methodical, they have shotguns, and they have those blast shotguns as well as regen. So 2 really tough units. 2 5-man units of Raptors that I've given a fusion gun in. I've got a 6-man unit of Destroyers with Energy Claws. And finally, I'm rounding it out with a Steel Siege Robot that I've upgraded with a heavy Disruptor Sword. So he's more of a hand-to-hand guy, but also with a heavy shield as well. So a lot of shield wall, a lot of regen, just sort of a tough close range unit. Let's go into the setup. So I found this really nice OPR board, which is sort of this Shrine World, I think it's what it's called. So it's really nice. 5 objectives here. Just to show you, so the Steel Robot is below. You can see there is these veterans with plasma rifles. Those I'm using for my breachers. I couldn't find sort of Chaos Marines with shields and shotguns, so the guys on the top, those are my breachers. I've then got my 20-man unit of Steel Initiates on the bottom, and then I've got my Destroyers with Lightning Claws. I can only find them with 1 Lightning Claw, but they technically have 2. So again, those Chaos Champions with the plasma guns, the red, those are my breachers on top. And I'm using, you see I've got those missile launchers. Those are actually the shotguns, the Magnum shotguns. So I've got both of those squads next to each other, whereas the squad on the far left is my Disciples with the heavy rifle. So these are my breachers. Again, those red plasma guns are the shotguns. They've got heavy shields, and the missile launchers I'm using is those Magnum, those blast shotguns. It's just another picture here. So on the other side, we've got kind of matching them. I've got one of my 6-man unit of Terminators or destroyers on the top. Behind them, I've got my Purgations with their side cannons. So a lot of sort of 18-inch shooting on that side. You can just see here, we both sort of set up towards the center where I've got, I'll go over my army in just a second. So here, and then, so if you here, I've got on this top here running this sort of top, I guess this is sort of like a bridge. We've got a 10-man unit of my Pilgrims that are sort of screening for my Purgations behind them. I've got my Cult Assassins on the lower level. And then in the center, I've got on the left, I've got my other unit of Destroyers with the Grand Master. And then I have my 10-man unit of Night Brothers behind them. They have the tactics, so they're going to be a move around. And I also have the Crusader Henchmen as well. So just sort of looking at that on the far left, you can see I've got my Flagellants, and I've got some Pilgrims, and I've got my Missionary Henchmen with the chainsaws on the left. So I definitely had more units than him, so I was able to set up a little better. And so once I saw him sort of setting up there, I set up a lot of my hand-to-hand units along with a lot of shooting to sort of clear out this left section here. You can just see right there. He also has his... so I should say, I played both. I don't know why I'm using he, but point being is that as I'm playing both of these armies, I had a lot less units setting up for the Steel Disciple, so it did mean that the Inquisition was able to kind of get some better setups because I've got 3 units. The Steel Disciples have 3 units in reserve. So that's just another picture there. Yeah, so here's the objectives. So I've got on the right, you've got those 2 on the bridges. You got 1 on the bridge. And then on the far left, you've got kind of 2 in the center, whereas 1 is behind that big statue in the center. So that's just a picture from the Steel Disciples here. Turn 1. So the Steel Disciples do get to go first. They move up their steel initiates, and they shoot at the Crusaders. I think they miss. It's cover and everything. The Crusaders then rush up. Sorry, that's just them. They move a little further right there. At that point, I move up my heavy robot. I shoot, take out 1 of the Crusaders. The Pilgrims then charge up towards the objective in the center. These guys on this palisade, these are the guys with just the heavy rifles and the machine guns. So they shoot and they take out 9 out of the 10 of the Pilgrims, but the Pilgrim has Fearless, so he passed his morale. So 9 out of the 10 Pilgrims are gone. That's just only 1 left. In response to that, so the Purgations, they move up and they shoot at the Steel Disciples. They take out 3 of them. A lot of these guys do have regions, so pretty much everyone is pretty tough to kill. So then I have this. So these are the 2 breachers. The first thing, so my leader is down below. He steel tactics ups the breachers on the bridge, and then they move up themselves and they shoot with their shotguns and they clear out all of those Pilgrims. From response to that, so this is my Terminator squad. So the first thing I do as a mistake is I start to give the Crusader Henchmen the Fury, but I actually move that back to themselves because I forgot that they can't give the Crusader Henchmen, they can't basically intermix. That's my special rule, that I'm not allowed to sort of intermix, so that's a mistake, but I catch it before they actually use it. So, and then they cast the +1 AP spell on them, but I actually just move it back to the Terminators because that wasn't allowed based on my army list. So I fixed that later. At that point, the Terminators, so they have the Fury aura that they've given out, and they've given the +1 AP aura. They then shoot at those Steel Disciples up on the bridge. They take out 4 of them, and then they move up as well. The Terminators, they then rush up to try and charge next turn against those Terminators. These Terminators, in response, these Destroyers on the bridge, they move up. The first thing they do is they fail to cast their spell, and then they shoot at those Breachers on the bridge across from them. They take out 3 more, but they pass their morale. That's just them. these breachers, they move up and they shoot their shotguns. They actually only do 1 wound on the Terminators, so pretty good there. I have 1 remaining Pilgrim. He just runs down on the bottom floor to try and stay out of the way. And then my Purgations also move up and they shoot those Terminators. They kill 2 of those Terminators. They do 6 total wounds onto those Terminators. Yeah, and then these guys, they rush up behind the Crusader henchmen. So this is my Knight Brothers. They rush up behind those Crusader henchmen, and you can see I'll move those markers when they charge next turn. And then the Cult Assassins, they sort of run around the bottom to try to get in range to possibly grab that objective on the top right. And yeah, that's just a picture. Oh, so at this point, I send my Missionary Henchmen. They rush up to get in charge range of those guys. And then I send my Flagellants as well. So both of those guys rush up to try and get within charge range of those breachers. And yeah, that's just a picture of the battlefield. Both squads are sort of there's a lot of sort of mid to close range shooting in both armies. So a lot of armies are also just sort of moving forward. But that's just a picture after turn 1. There has been some casualties on both sides, but generally speaking, it's probably going to get a lot rougher on turn 2. So you can just sort of see some pictures here. Yeah. All right. And that's just sort of an overhead where you see that we've both basically grabbed the objectives on both sides have grabbed the objectives close to them, and the Steel Disciples have grabbed that center because it's closer. On turn 2, the Steel Disciples get to go first again. They deep strike in one of their Raptor squads behind this building. The other Raptor squad, they drop behind the Purgations to sort of shoot them, and they drop their Harbinger behind those Terminators as well. So when they go to going first, they send in the Lightning Claw guys. They don't roll great. Remember, they're rending and they're hitting on 2s with reliable. So they only cause 4 wounds. They don't roll a lot of 6s. I think that's the problem with rending, is that if you don't roll 6s, it's just noticeably less effective. So even with 16 dice on 2s with rending, the Terminators actually swing back and do 5 wounds into them, but they are fine. Yeah, those... I don't know that I would continue to run Lightning Claw Terminators. They're not impressive, even with like that many hits. If you don't roll 6s, that rending is sort of tough. So in response to that, the Missionaries, they go in with their Chainswords, and they actually kill 6 out of those guys. So some pretty heavy. They take 2 in return, but some heavy casualties on those breachers. So this is the Raptors. They fly up to the top of the bridge and they shoot the Purgations. They kill 2 of them and they waver him. And then they actually shoot at so they have a Melta in there. They shoot at the Destroyers, but I roll a 6 and the Destroyer is fine. So, and this is where I catch it, where I realized that the Fury Aura and the +1 AP wasn't supposed to go on, and that's why I move it away from those Crusaders. So they do charge, but they still roll great. And this is the other side of rending. I rolled great, and I did 7 wounds into this guy, both with bad armor saves and with rolling several 6s. I do 7 wounds into those guys. He does 5 in return, but both passed their morale. Still, those Crusaders did a lot of damage. I don't want that a robot getting charged again, so I move up the Steel Initiates, and they shoot, killing 3 of the Knight Brothers. And you can see I've moved that Fury and +1 AP buff to the Terminators, because it wasn't supposed to go on those Crusaders. So still getting used to these armies, but yeah, I had fun doing this. So yeah, kills 3 of those guys. The Destroyers then move up. So I'm showing you that I'm able to actually get a pot shot into those Raptors. So I shoot most of the shots into the Raptors, kill 4 of them, and actually waver the 1 remaining one. And then I split the fire, and I think I do my I do the Psy Cannons into the Raptors, and then I shoot the rest of the Stormbolters into the Steel Breachers. I kill two more of them. I waver the Raptor, but the Breachers on top are fine. It's just one guy left. Yeah, so in response to that, the Breachers, they move up and they shoot off. I think I kill 6 of those. So that's those Breachers there on the bottom. They shoot off those Missionary Henchmen. They claim the objective, and they also waver those Missionary Henchmen. The Purgations move up and they shoot those Steel Disciples with the heavy rifles. They kill 5 of them, but they do pass morale. The Steel Robot, since he's already fatigued, he just moves back with 7 wounds. He's already sort of been seriously injured, and he shoots the Crusaders, takes out one of them, but that is enough to waver those Crusaders. The Flagellants, the Arco-Flagellants, they charge the Breachers. They kill the remaining 4. It's only the leader left, and the leader doesn't do any wounds back in return. So the 2 remaining Steel Disciples with heavy rifles, they shoot at those Purgations, kill 2 of them, and also waver these. So it's a lot of wavering for me with Fearless. So these Purgations also waver with Fearless. The Cult Assassins, they rush up the stairs to get in charge range of those Disciples. And yeah, I think this is just my turn left, in which the that one remaining Breacher, he moves up and he shoots those Terminators, kills 1 or 2 of them. Yeah, kills a Terminator. That's that one Breacher left with the Magnum shotgun. So he kills one of those Terminators. And then I actually have, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with these Purgations, so I actually run my Pilgrim back up the bridge to possibly claim that objective. And then the Lone Raptor unwavers. I actually unwaver my single Purgation as well. That was wavered by the Raptors. And at this point, the Steel Harbinger, he charges into the... so he tries to cast this spell, but I'm able to... basically, I have the psychic counters to counter that. So he doesn't get a spell off, and then he basically kills the rest of these guys. I do also use my repair on the Steel Robot. I show that later on. I heal the robot for 1. So I remember the repair a little later that you're going to see. I healed the Steel Robot for 1. All right, so, and then I just move back after I kill the Crusaders. At this point, the Night Brothers, they charge in. So they have, so the purple is the +1 AP, and then the yellow exclamation point is the Fury. So they charge in, they kill a lot of them. I think they kill close to 10 or 12. And then they take 1 in return. Yeah, 1 dies in return. And these Steel Initiates, they fail their morale and they run. So I just consolidated up 3 inches for these guys. And then the... so these are the destroyers. They move up to sort of... they move up towards the right. They shoot those Terminators. They take out all but 1 of them. And then they also recast the Fury aura on the Night Brothers. Because remember, those Night Brothers right above them had charged. So they both get the +1 AP off, and they get the Fury charging on them. That Destroyer also wavers, being the only one left. That's just me showing the 1 healed from the Steel Robot as well. All right, that's the end of the turn, and you can sort of see that it's been generally a pretty good turn for the Inquisitorial Crusade. There were some key roles. I think that the Lightning Claw Terminators charging and not doing much. That being said, I think the Lightning Claw Terminators, I was generally unimpressed with them. I don't think I'm going to run Lightning Claw Terminators again. But so that's just seeing here, the Inquisitorial Crusade has pretty much made advances on all fronts. I think just some good rolls and perhaps some bad armor saves from the Steel Disciples. They think they've lost more than expected. So yeah, that's just some pictures. It is turn 3. The Steel Disciples do get to go back. So I need my Harbinger to do a lot. So he casts the Blast 6 spell. Now I have enough to make it a 6+. So you can see he devotes 2, and then I devote 2 to make that a 6+. And actually, the Harbinger rolls a 6+. He gets the Blast 6 spell, takes out 2 of those guys, and then he charges in himself. And he kills another 4 of them. No, he kills another 2. And they actually swing back, doing 5 into him. So they roll pretty good. Again, this is just another thing where I think he just rolls really. Those guys roll really good. They did have the +1 AP on them. Do 5 wounds back into them, but he passes. So again, just not. I think it's just the rolls are sort of against the Steel Disciples here. They back off. So there's only 1 wound left on the Harbinger, so they back off with their shred rifles. They actually also advance tactics up the Terminators, because they still have that, and then they shoot with their rifles into the Steel Harbinger, and he dies. They also the Steel Harbinger also repairs the siege robot down to 4. So yeah, just keep that in mind. At this point, these heavy rifles they shoot at those cult assassins, taking out 2 of them. So that was that. These guys, they move up. They cast the level 1 2 AP 2 hits onto that breacher, but he passes both saves. So at this point, they then turn back to the objective and they shoot these raptors off. So they unload all into the raptors and kill the raptors behind them. So this siege robot had been healed 2 more wounds. He's down to 4. He charges these guys and he finishes off he finishes off the master destroyer, the Night Master, as well as the Night Brothers. So he kills them and he just backs off 3 inches. The Arco-Flagellants, there's just 1 guy left, which is the leader. They charge him, they kill the leader, and then they advance forward. So that's just that. That's one of the plasma rifles. He basically uses his flying to move up there. He shoots and takes out one of those destroyers with his plasma gun. Okay. Oh yeah, they move up and they shoot. These are the destroyers. They move up. They shoot and do 1 wound. Yeah, they don't roll great. Remember, they have a lot of blast weapons. And this guy has the heavy shield as well. So they go and they shoot and only do 1 wound into that siege robot. That's the breacher up top. He shoots and kills. So he has that blast weapon. He shoots and kills 3 of the Arco-Flagellants, but they pass their morale. The cult assassins, they charge and they finish their remaining Steel Disciples that have the heavy rifles, so they grab that objective. This single Terminator with lightning claws unpins. The remaining Pilgrim moves towards that objective to help reinforce it. This single Purgation also unwavers. And also the below there, the missionary henchmen also unwaver. So the last of the turn was just several unwavering happening, and you can sort of see that the Inquisition, they've grabbed this bottom objective pretty much. They've got the top. It's looking pretty bad for the Steel Disciples. I think just some rolls haven't gone their way. We'll get into that later. But yeah, so turn 4. The Steel Disciples get to go first again. He charges the Terminators, the Destroyers. He's heavily wounded. He kills 3 of them actually, so he rolls pretty great. Kills 3 of those Terminators. They go back, and I think they do 1 wound back into him, but they pass their morale, and he backs off. These guys then just basically move around the steel robot. They shoot him. I think they do 1 more wound on him. It's really difficult to wound this guy. He's got that heavy shield, so I do 1 more wound, but he's fine. Actually, no, I waver him. That's right. Oh yeah. So I do 1 wound into this robot, and even with Fearless, he wavers. So this 1 single breacher moves down. He shoots into the Flagellants, kills 2 more of them, but those guys have Fearless as well, so they pass their morale. These 2 missionary henchmen finish off the Raptor. The single Terminator charges these destroyers. I think that we trade wounds. These guys are fatigued, so I think he does 1 wound into them, and then I don't do any wounds because they're fatigued. The Arcoflagellants charge and kill the remaining breacher, so we clear him off. These Terminators on the bridge, they move up and they shoot the remaining Terminator and they kill him. So that gives actually them this objective. And yeah, that's sort of the game, really. It's pretty much a total victory for the Inquisitorial Crusade. We're going to get into some things I would have done differently. This is the first game I've played with the Steel Disciples, and I'm definitely going to change some things. So it's a complete victory for the Inquisitorial Crusade. I'm definitely going to make some tweaks. I like the Steel Disciple list. I just need to make some tweaks to it. I also like playing on Tabletop Simulator. This is a solo game, but I really enjoy... I like solo games, and I like Tabletop Simulator where I get a chance to play some different armies. So definitely getting used to it now. Let's go into the Steel Disciples. I like the army. I definitely... Next time, I'm going to bring more Breachers. Breachers are really solid. I think I'm also going to start bringing some more Steel Initiatives. I need some more... I didn't have a lot of chaff in the Steel Disciples army. I think I definitely am going to run Ambush into those hand-to-hand destroyers. That said, I don't think I'm going to probably run Lightning Claw Terminators again. Even, they just, I don't know, they didn't do me good at all. So I'm probably not going to bring the destroyers with Lightning Claws anymore. I also probably wouldn't bring the Harbinger again. The Harbinger was sort of underwhelming as well. So I do like the Steel Disciples. I'm just going to change. If I played them again, I'm going to change my army. Bring in some more Breachers, bring in some more Initiates, probably bring in, probably tweak what if I do bring Destroyers, I'm probably not going to bring them with Lightning Claws. Anyway, 3,000 still feels like a good point. I do like that point total as well. Hey, thanks again for watching. You can always play against me on Universal Battles 2, Tabletop Simulator. Always interested in feedback. Like, subscribing, and commenting would be great. And if you're in Austin, you can always play in the Austin Alternative Gaming Freaks group. Thank you so much.